Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another spooky episode of Donut Like, Donut Read. My name is Julius, and with me today I have Adam,
At your service.
Joaquin,
What's up?
and John.
Ooh, it's me, normies.
And today we're kind of going for something different. We don't have a fanfiction for you today, nor a video story or a movie or anything other to riff, because today we're going to talk about things that scared us as a child. Because, a lot of people have these childhood trauma videos out where they talk about, children's media that scared them, but that wasn't supposed to be scary. And we thought, why not do that as well?
Yeah.
I love
As soon
talking
as
about
you
the
said
things
that,
terrify me.
I just got another idea of what to talk about. I'm gonna quickly put that down in my notes.
Oh, awesome.
So, first thing I want to talk about is a show that I should probably mention first. Most of the stuff I prepared is from when I was a kindergartner to preschool. Because if I would talk about stuff after that when I was older, it would probably mostly boil down to finding creepy pastas on the internet.
Oh, dude, I was gonna talk about that. Well, not
Yeah,
really,
but
but that was one of the topics.
I was more interested in going back to shit that I have almost no memory of and find out if it was as scary as I remember it. And sometimes you get disappointed, sometimes I guess you find a diamond in the rough. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is not really that scary, it's more just stupid. So there was this show on the public German kids channel, or Kika, which was what I was watching as a kid. Like if you're a kid in Germany, you're probably either going to be watching the public children's channel Kika, or you're going to watch Togo, which is a private network.
Oh, I got a question before we.
Go on.
What channel do they show SpongeBob on with the German dub?
I think it used to be Togo, and then I think Nick just got a German. There's just German Nickelodeon now, but I think before that it used to be Togo.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess the channel would be Super RTL. The program itself was called Togo. Anyway, so there was this show called Poor, which so the issue with this is I could not find screenshots of the episode, I remember, because there's almost nothing you can find of this show on the internet nowadays. There's only 3 episodes, I think, on YouTube, and none of them are the one that I remember. But this used to be, I guess, what do you call it? It used to be some kind of science general knowledge magazine for children. So basically you had these 2 moderators. You had this human moderator, and as a sidekick he had this this cartoon thing.
I'm sorry. Is that Tobuscus?
No. He kind of
glue a
looks
bunch
like
of
him.
Pikachu ears to his head.
Looks like the spitting image of Tobuscus.
I'll get in a biscuit.
Now that you mention it, he kind of does.
Not talking about his other stuff. No, we're not talking about that. I'm just saying he looks like him. That's all I got.
So basically every episode would center around a topic. Like this one, I think, was about speed and different types of vehicles, I guess. And you'd have these skits in between of the guy and the cartoon thing. Her name is Patty Poor, I think.
Patty Poor?
There's also yeah.
That's a terrible last name. You're damning their entire like family lineage to being broke.
What did this character sound like?
She has kind of I think she has a female voice, and it's kind of raspy and annoying.
That's a woman?
Yeah.
A girl.
I guess I couldn't really tell by looking at it.
That thing's a guy.
If you want, I can send you a link to one of the episodes afterwards.
Her hair kind of reminds me of Pikachu. Yellow hair
Yeah,
with the red tips.
It looks like she kind of like glued a bunch of Pikachu ears to her head, and
Or like the shitty German version of Johnny Test.
Well, I think this was before Johnny Test.
Yeah,
No, that's
it
definitely
looks like
correct. That's definitely correct.
yeah, this looks like 90s.
Yeah, 90s, early 2000s is when I watched this. I think like around 2004 is probably when this happened. Like, because I remember this show got replaced by the successor was called Pure Plus. It was a bit different, but was like the same in principle, but it didn't have these characters anymore. It had a different moderator. So anyway, yeah, the main body of the show would be like reporters going to different places and asking experts stuff. And in between, you'd have these skits. So one episode, the thing is, I don't even remember what exactly the episode was about, but it was probably horror. It was horror related. I just don't know if it was about like how haunted houses work or just horror in general. I legitimately don't remember. I don't remember. I just remember one scene at the end, because at the very end there was a skit where basically it was the human guy. His name is Yo something. Yo is his name, his first name, and he goes in there into this horribly aged CGI studio, and he's trying to scare Patty Poor. Is basically the gist of this, and he has like a cheap Halloween mask on, and of course she goes like, "Oh, I know it's you. Yo, you can put the mask down." But then he puts the mask down, and the big twist is that he has no face.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
So, Slender Man.
Kinda lame, but
Wait.
it did impress little Julius for some reason.
Expand on the statement. Had no face. Like, did he have like skin but like no facial features, or was
No,
like
he
skin
had
off his
no.
face?
He just had no head.
you have a
Oh,
screen-
Like, it was
Screenshot
a
for that
green
one?
screen. No, because I didn't find the episode. That's the issue. You can barely find anything of this show. I wish I could have showed you, but yeah, I can't.
Probably would have been
sadly.
scarier if he had no face. Like he had the head but no face.
Yeah,
would've
that
been
would
very-
have probably been scarier. But yeah, it was basically just a green screen effect. But of course, child me didn't know that, didn't understand, and was kind of scared by this. And
I'm surprised that
the
you weren't
funny part
scared.
about this,
I'm surprised that you weren't scared of Penny Poor here. I mean, just is that like the thing on the side of her head? Is that an ear or is that a second mouth?
I guess I was already used to her. Yeah, now that you mention it, it looks like some horrible deformed lips.
I don't think I can tell you what her eyes look like right now.
What do you think they're talking about right here in the screenshot?
I mean, I think this was the Speed episode. There was like a skit where they tried to chase after a rocket, but of course they were too slow.
It's
And
like,
she gets kind of mad.
God damn it, we need to go fast.
Yeah, basically. That's basically what it sounds like. But yeah, no, the second big twist in that skit is that he pulls the, I don't know how to describe this, the invisible stuff off his face, and he says that he used invisibility paper. Like, that's how he explains it. I guess because they need an in-universe explanation for how he tricked Patty. But of course, little me didn't understand what a green screen was, and I don't know how long exact, but I went some years legitimately thinking there was something like invisibility paper out there. Like, I could just buy invisibility paper and wrap myself in it and go invisible.
Goddamn.
So,
I mean, if
that's the reason I
invisibility
chose
paper
this.
was real, then like everyone would be playing Harry Potter as a kid.
Yeah.
Now, but the issue with that is like they gotta make like a paper
That didn't make
mache
sense.
like cloak, but then you can still see the glue holding the cloak together. Fortunately.
Okay, what to talk about next? Okay, probably. I just have this one screenshot for this. So, does any one of you remember Dragon Hunters?
I've
No.
never seen it.
Is that a woman with a penguin hand?
Well, let me explain. So, first of all, I also didn't actually watch the series, but I had a lot of audio cassettes from it. So, this episode in particular, I didn't actually watch. I didn't actually see what you're seeing right now. I just listened to it on. And I also think I was listening to it on a shitty, like, Fisher-Price cassette player.
Isn't that what every kid had, though? To be fair, I mean, I remember having one.
So to warn you, this is kind of this is like the most disappointing thing. So basically, the dragon they're going after in this episode is called Artok, and Artok, it kind of looks like a spider. It also shoots webs like a spider, but its main gimmick is that it abducts people. It holds them it holds them captive in its cave, and then it takes on their shape and lives their lives basically. And first of all, I think what freaked me out about this episode as a kid was that concept of a monster that, I guess, takes on the shape of someone who's near to you. Like those kinds of that kind of stuff really fucked with me as a kid.
That's a legitimately scary thing, though. Scary
This thing
concept.
can copy its prey. It could be you, or you, or you, or me. I hope it's not me.
That's a legitimately scary
stole
thing,
that
though.
straight from Smosh.
Yeah, and that I always I found that way more unnerving than just like a big old dragon and we hunt him down. Like, that still feels like a controlled situation, but when you can't even trust who's around you, who, like the people who you think you hold dear, like, that's some scary stuff. But the main thing about this episode, so yeah, they found out this girl, her name is Gwendolyn or something, if I remember correctly, and like, she got abducted by the Artok, and now what you're seeing is the imposter. And like, they find out she's the Artok, and they're trying to tell the mayor, who's the guy she's pointing her claw at. He doesn't believe them, because like he's like, the people in this village are portrayed as like complete assholes, and they don't even want to be helped. But yeah, then there's the scene, and basically her voice just gets deeper, and that's the other thing I remember. Like, her voice changes, it gets deeper, and something that also always freaked me out as a kid were like deep pitch down voice changes. Like, especially if they were like disharmonic. Like, that also plays into another thing I want to talk about. And yeah, but the thing is, on rewatching this episode, this really didn't hold up, because in my memory it sounded like in my memory, it really sounded like a deep demon-like voice. But unfortunately, when I rewatched this recently, it didn't sound like I remembered it at all. Like, it just sounded like a deeper, normal male voice.
So like Turians?
So, yeah, basically.
Where's Steve Eagle?
It really didn't hold up. I was really disappointed by this, so, yeah.
So yeah, you don't know who to trust now. Right?
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to have as a kid.
And I don't know if I can trust any of you, to be honest. Julius, are you sure you secretly don't have like some demon hand or something?
Wait, let me check. No, looks pretty normal.
Okay.
How do you know who's who in this
But I
crazy
guess you
world?
have to
We will all
trust my
find out
word for it.
when we all
How do
meet
you
up.
know? How do you know who's who in this crazy world solving? Oh Jesus!
Oh,
I was gonna
geez.
say,
Is
Julius
Rouge on this
has
podcast now?
Julius has a
I
very
mean,
well-trimmed
she
villain's
could-
beard. So, if American media has taught me anything, is that if someone has a really nice beard, they're probably evil.
I mean, to
Yeah,
answer, your,
especially if they're German.
to answer your
That too.
oh, sig hell no. To answer your question, Joaquin, I don't know. Who's to say that I'm not a John with a Rouge with a John face on this entire time?
Oh.
What a twist!
Sonic is real.
But something, well, Nico One Shot is also real. But
Wow.
something I also, in hindsight, find kind of fucked up about this episode is the concept that, like, this dragon is obviously, like, it's intelligent enough that it can, like, as a human, it can legitimately talk. Like, it's pretty intelligent, and I guess it's explained that it captures and takes on human forms because it wants to be a human. Which, and like at the end they just kill it. Which, and it's kind of fucked up because like it kind of implies that it's like kind of sentient and pretty intelligent. Like of course it's still, it still kills like their cattle and shit, but
Yeah.
still it feels kind of weird.
They're hungry. They're hungry.
I mean, that's kind of the plot of like Resident Evil Biohazard, though. Like the monster just wants to have a family, but doesn't change the fact that they did a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is a show where people got killed, though. This looks way too cute for that.
Well, not people. The dragon got killed.
Even so, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, never mind. I was gonna say, the lady, her face, like if you block, like the rest of her hair and whatever she's wearing, she kind of looks like Ron from Kim Possible.
oh yeah.
I can't unsee that.
Oh no,
Hey,
it's Ron.
cherry pie.
Oh no.
Where the cherry pie be at?
Kim.
Where the cherry pie be at? I want to
Where's those
create a
5
race of goddesses.
burritos?
But yeah, while we're at voice changers, and I don't have a screenshot for this because you already know what it looks like. Something I was really afraid of as a kid was Darth Vader.
Ba 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 da ba da.
Like straight up, I would refuse to watch any media that had Darth Vader in it, and like any Star Wars media, just because I associated Star Wars with Darth Vader. But like the thing is, so yeah, my parents weren't big on Star Wars, so I don't even know if they watched it, and I didn't watch any of the actual Star Wars movies as a kid. But the reason I was afraid of Darth Vader is I was looking with my dad at like funny clips at like a failed, like there used to be this site called Clipfish, and it was created by some German TV network, I think, as it was a failed YouTube competitor basically, and it was like funny clips. And
like World Star or YouTube poops or shoot.
Yeah, not stuff like that. Not good stuff like that.
World Star.
YouTube poops are good.
John, why did you use World Star as an example?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind.
You think there's people in Germany who record fights and they just yell out "clip fish"?
Yeah, I don't think so. Again, it didn't caught on, and like the stuff you could watch, and there was more on. It was more stuff like some fail compilation from the 2000s, or like a bad candidate in the casting of like the German version of American Idol. I'm not even gonna say the name because it's too complicated. It's not German Idol, but it was stuff like that, and yeah, we stumbled upon this clip that had Darth Vader in it, and like of course, like I can't go back and look up what exactly it was, but I think it actually wasn't like an original unaltered clip from the one of the Star Wars movies. What I think it was a dub of like a scene from, I think, Return of the Jedi. And it was a dub where someone dubbed over Darth Vader and the Emperor in like a thick Cologne accent. Because that's like a video series on YouTube. It's pretty old, and yeah, it's this guy. His microphone is kind of shitty. It sounds really overblown and compressed, and he's talking in this thick dialect, which is the reason, one of the main reasons I think it was this clip and not an actual, like an unaltered Star Wars clip, because I distinctly remember his voice sounding like really fucked up and overblown, and that I couldn't understand anything of what he was saying.
Genau, und er ist schwer am Säcke. Und uns gesagt, der Imperator ist nicht so eine Leviung wie ich bin.
Wir verdoppeln unsere Bemühungen.
Sag bloß, ob jemand will, also doch. Früher im Klon kriegst du mal so hier betrieben an der Linie, mal. Das ist about Jod.
So yeah, and like Joaquin, maybe I can send you that video clip so you can edit that in. Like, it's supposed to be, like, if you understand what he says, it's actually kind of funny, but again, as a kid, it was just this scary man in the scary mask talking what sounded to me like absolute gibberish in this weird, fucked up, distorted voice, and it fucked me up.
I thought when you first said Darth Vader, it was like, you were gonna be like, oh, I thought he was gonna appear in my closet at night. And then he goes, he goes to your room and he's like, Julius, I am your father. Were you afraid of
far deeper than we ever could have imagined?
Speaking of Darth Vader, I know a lot of people. This is related to Star Wars. A lot of people were really scared of this character as a kid, but were you also scared of Darth Maul?
Not really, because I didn't know about Darth Maul as a kid. Again,
that dude's a scary-looking mofo, man.
I didn't actually, like the first Star Wars movie I actually watched was like, this was when I was just out of elementary school, and it was my best friend's birthday, and we went into like, at that time they were airing the 3D remake of The Phantom Menace.
Oh no.
And like, even then I still had to be convinced to actually go because I still had this deep-seated fear of Star Wars. But yeah, I also thought Darth Maul was kind of scary looking, but I didn't think it was that scary. Actually, related to that, the film Legend with Tim Curry, do you know what I'm talking about?
I was gonna bring up something else about Darth Maul, but what do you mean?
Because like there's this film, I think it's called Legend, and it stars Tim Curry as this Dark Lord thing, where he kind of looks like a devil. I watched that in elementary school, and
Nice.
like it didn't fuck me up that much, but like I think it's I'm just mentioning it here because I think that design of Tim Curry's character kind of plays into the same tropes as Darth Maul. Like it's scary for the same reasons.
Yeah. Darth Maul to me was never really that scary for some reason. And that's because my first exposure to Darth Maul was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. And I wasn't scared of him because I was skating as him. So
I wasn't scared of him. I thought I was a kid when that movie came out. I thought he was cool. He had a cool double-sided lightsaber. He had like those little horns on his head. I mean, I thought that guy was cool. And I also played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, so
I'm
he was
sorry.
it had a
cool
lot of
too.
cool secret characters in it. They had a Wolverine also.
Listen, I'm sorry, but when you said Tim Curry, the first thing came to mind was like this scene where like I forget the game he's in, but like he says, "I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism, space."
Yeah, also like related to Darth Vader. I'm just
I
imagining.
clicked so hard right there. You have no idea.
Yeah. I'm just imagining we all meet up. We go to Disneyland, and then we go to the Star Wars area, and then Julius sees Darth Vader, and then he runs away.
I'm over it, I swear.
Right.
Okay, so next up, and I was almost not gonna talk about this because I kind of forgot it, but like literally today I remembered this episode. So I think this is a French show. It's called Bernard.
Bernard.
Yeah.
That's
Bernard, featuring the
Bernard.
titular character who's supposed to be an ice bear. I'm mentioning this because as a kid I didn't realize it was supposed to be an ice bear. I thought it was supposed to be some kind of wombat or something. And I recently had this discussion with my sister because I didn't believe her it was an ice bear because I thought he was a wombat or something. But yeah, that's supposed to be an ice bear. So this show features the titular character. I guess it's some kind of, it's like slapstick oriented humor. Like basically he gets into bad situations and slapstick happens, and like the thing is that cliche in creepypastas when they say, oh, this character was crying but it didn't sound like normal cartoon crying but like real crying. That's of course that's a dumb cliche, but there's like a ring of truth to it because sound design can make or break a show like this, because like shows like Looney Tunes, they have a lot of violence, but like the effects and especially also the sound effects like kind of make the violence feel not be that significant or not that bad, if you know what I'm getting at.
Or like morbid or whatever.
Yeah, because the thing about this, morbid. Because that's the perfect word. Because in this show, they have like realistic sound effects, and Bernard himself just does these realistic bear sounds.
Oh god damn.
And that, to me, always made this show feel pretty uncomfortable. Yeah, because sometimes he literally gets, like, there's an episode where he literally gets fried by lightning and then he turns into dust at the very end. And stuff like that. Yeah, it feels kind of morbid and kind of too mean-spirited when you have a sound design like that. Like, it always sounds like realistic bear noises and like Gmod ragdolls. It's kind of weird. It's really uncanny.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of in the newest Super Smash Brothers game, whenever the Duck Hunt dog gets blasted off the back of the screen, he makes a realistic sound of a dog getting hit. Like, I don't fucking need that. But it's just, I get what you're saying though, because it does just make it feel a little more uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's this one episode where he's a pest hunter basically, and he goes into a house and he tries to exterminate the cockroaches that are roaming, like, they're all over this house. And that on its own is bad enough. But at one point, he basically falls into this, Oh wait, I literally forgot the word. Hold on a minute, you can edit this out later.
1 minute later.
So yeah, he falls like backwards into this basement. I think he has a bucket on his head, and the door locks, and there's just a giant fucking cockroach there. Look at this fucking abomination before mankind. God. Yeah, that just really hit me the wrong way. It's awful.
Man.
That's fucking terrifying. It's like...
Also, I don't think I have a screenshot of that, but this episode also literally ends with him, like, in an asylum. Like, because he gets mad. It's like literally in the madhouse at the end. It's fucked up.
Why? For what reason?
Can't be fixed, man. Bernard cannot be fixed.
Yeah, this cockroach is basically his purple guy.
Is that where Purple Guy got his inspiration? He was watching German kids programming and saw this cockroach make a photorealistic version of himself in a pregnant woman's stomach, and he was like, "That's it. That's what I'm gonna be when I grow up."
That. Okay, now we are finally ready, and for this one I have more screenshots prepared. For some reason, I thought it was important to give you a more detailed experience of this episode, which is from the show. It's called Jackers: The Adventures of Piggly Wink, I think. Ooh, that rhymed. Anyway, any one of you ever watched that?
Doesn't sound familiar.
No.
I think did any of these shows make it to America, Ethan?
This show is from America. I don't...
Is it? Okay.
Do not
I was
know this.
looking this up on Wikipedia. I'm not sure if this was on Cubo or PBS, but I think it was one of the two. But yeah, it's basically it's about this old Irish pig, and he always tells his grandchildren's story from when he was a young pig, a young pig in Ireland.
Why, in my day, we had to walk 15 miles to the trough pits.
Well, and they go on wacky adventures, I guess. I guess this show, I don't really have that hard feelings on it. Like, it's okay, I guess. It was not my favorite show, but I'd watch it when it aired, and I'd have an okay time. So in this episode, this is basically about the lesson that when you're a kid, you shouldn't watch the adults program, just because you could get scared and get really bad nightmares. That's basically the gist of it. So basically, it starts with him.
Those damn
Also,
eyebrows.
I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. The person who uploaded this I don't know why they put this in the top left corner.
They put their channel
Poe
name
Troop.
in Comic Sans. I think that's Comic Sans, right?
What the fuck is the older pig holding in his hand? Like
I think a pencil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a pencil.
Is it? I thought it was just the background. Maybe
I really like that their chair here has like a brick texture. I think
Oh, yeah.
Wolves
it
can't
looks
blow
like
it down,
brick, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, weird texturing is gonna be a theme in this. So this starts with Piggly wanting to listen to this radio program for adults, which is, I guess, a spoof on like shitty old horror movies or radio programs. It's about like spooky living cabbages. Like, that's the gist of it. Like cabbages from outer space or something like that. Like, supposedly cheesy. But it's supposed to be, it's like for adults only, and instead it tells them, no, you're too young to listen to the adults radio show. You can't listen to the cabbages. But of course, like, he goes to his room, he pretends to fall asleep, but in reality, he just brings his, like, his bedsheet and his pillow to, like, the door so he can secretly listen in. And then he starts falling asleep and having a dream. Like, it starts pretty, I guess, pretty normal, except there's already cabbages everywhere. And something interesting about this particular dream episode is that, like, almost from the beginning he knows it's a dream, which is kind of weird. Oh yeah, I was going to mention that I couldn't find the German dub on YouTube and I had to watch the English dub, which felt really weird because the voices were so different, and like Piggly's voice sounds kind of weird, I have to say, in the English version. Like, weirdly, like, it sounds like a teenager who inhaled some helium. It's kind of weird, but maybe that's just because I'm used to something different anyway. So yeah, he knows he's in a dream. The sheep can talk, stuff like that, and he has this go-kart thing. What do you call this? Wait.
Looks like a wagon.
Was this like a predecessor to Inception?
Basically.
Goddamn.
Yeah, this can fly now for real because he's dreaming. I guess he's lucid dreaming, but not really. We'll get into that. He meets up with his friend, I think Fernando is his name, the cow guy in the back. And they have a jolly old time. There's also still cabbages around. They meet up with their other friend, the Danny or something like that, who's the stuck character. And like, Piggly tells her that he listened to the adult radio program, and she gets mad at him because he disobeyed his parents, and she's like, I'm not gonna be part of this dream anymore, and walks into this book, which is
Adult
like,
radio
trippy
program.
thing.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I think I worded this kind of weirdly.
Some kind of like audio peep show?
Was he listening to
You know,
InfoWars?
something about walking cabbages, I guess. I guess that could be on that could be on InfoWars.
Yeah,
Too
I mean,
abstracted to like.
I would
care.
get mad. I would get mad at Piggly if he was listening to InfoWars.
But hey, that's the.
They're putting chemicals in the cabbages that make them walk.
Good news though. There's some very good news actually. He has been sued for close to $1 billion now.
Yeah. That was just that yeah.
Anyways.
It was such a shit show. Glorious shit show. But yeah, shit
Anyways,
show.
we have spooky
nonetheless.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So they also go to the train station, and this guy just
Looks like
has
Donald Duck.
cabbages.
loads of cabbages. Like the cabbages just start piling up. Like, I guess this episode kind of succeeds at making this dream escalate and get more surreal as it goes on. So there's more and more cabbages. They go to the city, and there's even more cabbages now. Like at this point, the cars start to become cabbages.
Julius, can you make these pictures go full screen?
My cabbages.
There we go.
Resolution isn't that great, but yeah.
Whatever.
Cabbages, yeah, there's also someone going, cabbages, cabbages, get off, find cabbages, while they're running from the madness, and then the clock of the clock tower is also a cabbage.
Oh.
What time is it though?
3 o'clock?
Yeah, it's hard to say. That's the true horror.
I guess it is 3 o'clock. Yeah. It's just a weird picture.
If now we get to the...
Are the clouds cabbages too?
Yeah, oh yeah. I also noticed that only on rewatching. The clouds are literally cabbage-shaped.
Jeez.
And yeah, now to the true horrors of this episode, because they meet Dana. I think it was Dana, actually. They meet Duck again. And like, she has her head inside of a book, and they go like, please, Dana, help us. The dream is getting out of control. And then she puts the book down, and we're greeted by this horrifying
Oh,
sight.
shit.
This is one of the things that I really remembered from this episode that really stuck with me as a kid. This, like, just her cabbage. Like, this actually looks more like kale than cabbage, to be honest. But like her kale textured face.
God.
There is.
But
no
yeah, they
God.
they try to flee this. They get back to the train station, and the train pulls in, and these creatures start getting out.
Oh, jeez. Cabbage creatures.
Everything is Martians.
Yeah. They're trying to hide behind some crates, and then it turns out Fernando is also turning into a cabbage. This is, I think, the other scene that stuck with me. Like, him, like this shot of him where you have just his shadow and he's turning into a cabbage. That for some reason also fucked with me as a friend. Like, just the thought of seeing like your best friend turn into a cabbage before your eyes. Like, it also kind of plays into that who can I really trust kind of thing.
Oh,
And yeah,
goddamn.
the end sequence is like dancing cabbages. It gets more trippy, and like it literally becomes like a spooky, scary skeleton type dance number at the end, and then he wakes up, and you know, it was all a dream. Well, it's not a twist. Because he knew that it was a dream. They acknowledged it multiple times. Like, there's even a point where Fernando goes, oh, well, what if you're never going to wake up? If you become a cabbage in the dream, you become a cabbage in real life. Ooh.
Oh no, if we eat vegan in the game, we're vegan for real.
So, Julius, were you scared of becoming a cabbage as a kid?
No, I just found this episode to be really scary, and I tried to avoid it at all costs.
I'm sure you looked at cabbages very differently after that.
Well, I guess it wasn't really about the cabbages, it was more about like the underlying fears this triggered in me. Like I said, what if everyone around you starts acting differently?
And then
What
became
if
cabbage.
they become something else before your eyes? What if you can trust no one? Like that kind of stuff. But yeah, cabbages are scary, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me.
I have a few things, but it's a little bit of a different spin than what Julius did, and it's also I have just a few things to talk about, if that's
Wait,
okay.
let me
Yeah,
end
about
the
it.
stream. Okay.
Okay, Adam, do you want to go next?
Sure. And this isn't going to take too long. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't have a whole lot of things from. I guess like these things. The pictures I used are also things that kind of just vaguely tie into what I'm talking about, rather than like specific images from my childhood.
Oh, you have pictures?
So let's see. I just pulled up a few pictures that kind of vaguely tie together with things that kind of made me afraid as a kid. And some of these things I'm kind of afraid of now too, because, yeah, the world is a scary place.
Well, damn, I don't have any pictures. Did not come prepared.
That's okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, Sharknado.
Okay. I'm not actually afraid of Sharknadoes because Sharknadoes aren't really a thing. But this is a picture of two things in general that have terrified me and kind of still do to this day. When I was a kid, I saw the movie Twister. Big mistake. When you're 7 years old and you see Twister. I don't think Twister really holds up as a film, honestly. But it's one of those things where I think if you see that, then suddenly whenever it's a slightly windy day, you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. I don't know if anyone else has ever seen that movie or had that kind of experience as a kid.
Yeah, no.
So it's just one of those things. I guess sharks too. Now, one thing that I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love shitty sci-fi movies like Sharknado, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a whole subgenre of shitty sci-fi movies which are just all sharks. Like you have three-headed shark, two-headed shark.
I used to watch
ghost
a lot
shark,
of those when I was a
Sharknado.
kid. Those shitty like sci-fi shark movies. Like I watched
Yeah.
Shark Attack
I have a
3,
whole bunch of them on DVD
Megalodon.
too.
I didn't realize it was bad when I was a kid. I would show it to people around me who were older, and they would always laugh their ass off at this one scene where the shark, the megalodon attacks the boat, and then I never understood what was funny.
I mean, I just love that genre of movie now. Like, I'm kind of afraid of sharks in real life, even though chances of getting hurt by a sart are actually pretty low if you're in the ocean.
Depends on where you
But,
are, also.
Yeah, and the situation.
Yeah, but there's a lot of factors there. But yeah, sharks kind of like I don't know. I despite my fear of sharks, I just love this kind of movie now. There's usually some terrible CGI. There's usually some over the top gore. There's usually a woman getting topless in these kinds of movies. So it's a lot of fun, you know. Second thing, this isn't really immediate. The picture isn't really a media tie-in. It's mostly just like I'm not actually afraid. I'm not afraid
Are
of the
they all
Care Bears
high
either.
in this picture?
They look high as shit. I have a general fear. I love animals, but I'm also generally afraid of the wild ones because you don't really know how wild animals are going to react if you get close to them, you know? When I was younger, I was actually a teenager when I kind of had this fear come up. We were camping in Yosemite National Park. I think it's in, I can't remember exactly. It's on the west coast of America. And when you camp out there, they tell you there are black bears that live in the woods
That's
there
racist.
and that they will... Yeah, but they're like mostly they're pretty docile for bears. You just don't want to mess with a bear though. They tell you all the time you got to keep your food and your toothpaste in a locker because if you keep it in your tent, bears will come can break into your tent looking for food, and then you never know, they might decide I'm going to eat this person while I'm here, you know?
Oh god.
But what terrifies me about that is I was terrified of bears that entire trip. I found out later on that my father actually snuck crackers into the tent every night and never told anybody he did. So, yeah. Bears are terrifying. I mean, black bears aren't as scary as grizzlies or polar bears, but bears in general are just kind of terrifying.
I speak for Dark Card when I
Let's
say,
see.
time for a game of disappearing bears.
My favorite
Pretty
game.
much. Yeah, I wish... I did see a bear on that trip. It was a cub, though. And luckily, when you're in a group of people, they're not going to just come attack you or anything. Thank God. This next one's a little more general, also. Two things that kind of scare me.
Sonic the Hedgehog
Yeah,
scares you?
I too was afraid of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that the first thing is like I was always this is something that gets me to this day. I'm afraid of I get really freaked out when video games do jump scares or have like some sort of jump scare element. So any video game that has drowning music always freaked me out, whether it's Sonic the Hedgehog or anything else. I believe there's a yeah, I believe it's in like Sonic Adventure 2. There, when you're playing as Knuckles and you want to go get like the water breather, I think there's a portion of the level you have to cross that actually forces you into drowning mode because it's just too far. So it's like you pretty much have to freak yourself out in order to become immune to drowning. You know,
that could be symbolic.
I guess it's like you gotta face your fears to overcome them, right? But I think drowning in general is also a general fear of mine. This is the idea of not being able to breathe. I'm actually going to do a kind of a brief fanfic tie into this. There's a back when I was younger, I read a lot of Harvest Moon fanfiction in the early 2000s, and most of that stuff from the early 2000s was written by young people, like teenagers, kids. A lot of it hasn't aged well. There's a story, I believe it's called Betrayed. If anyone goes and looks it up, just don't bother the author or anything. But I believe the last story in that series, like the last mini story, was of a person being tied up and thrown into the ocean to drown. And they're like thinking about how like it's like going into graphic detail about how their lungs are like not working and how they have this fear of how no one's going to know that they're dead and how they're going to be erased and how they pretty much just. So that also ties into my existential fear of dying and not being remembered. So
yeah, that's fair.
Like the story itself isn't that scary. I don't think I can't imagine that story aged well. But when you're reading that as a kid, you're like, well, that's kind of terrifying, I
mean, yeah, I totally get that. Like drowning.
Yeah.
Probably one of the worst ways to die.
Yeah, but then it's like again, I guess that's always why going back to Sonic, that's always why the Sonic thing always terrified me. You're just underwater, you can't swim, and then you start hearing the terrifying music of, oh, Sonic's about to die if you don't do something. Yeah. That's always kind of freaked me out. I don't really mind it now. I'm kind of used to Sonic dying when I play these games.
But that's like your number one fear is like drowning.
Yeah. I also am afraid of heights, but I couldn't really find anything funny for that. I don't really have a funny story for that.
Yeah, I would say my fear for dying probably would have to be cancer. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm just really afraid of getting cancer.
Yeah.
But you obviously you can survive it. It also depends.
Hopefully medical knowledge and technology is going to improve that more people will survive it.
Also, like brain aneurysms.
So yeah.
That one scares the shit out of me.
You're talking like Archer right now. Like his three biggest fears are crocodiles, alligators, and brain aneurysms.
Yeah.
Oh, those are all scary things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Archer is paranoid of alligators. He's like, I don't know. Maybe deep down, I'm afraid of any apex predator that lived through the KT extinction.
Yeah. No, I agree though. Crocodiles are terrifying. Same with alligators. But that's all I have on my end. So if anyone else wants to go,
there's a lot of stuff that I'm afraid of. Like, it all really has. One of them also has to do with like death. Like, I'm just afraid of dying young.
Yeah.
Man, that's just...
Yeah.
That's your fears? Well, I'm afraid of dying a virgin.
Anyways, John...
In some way, that's more terrifying.
But yeah, that's like
I think
like
death
one of
is
my
something that's scary, depending on your belief also. If you're...
I'm also, like scared of things that cause death, like...
Cancer.
Like cancer. Another big one that scares the shit out of me are asteroids. Like whenever I hear about any asteroid like in the news, I immediately start spiraling. And then later find out it's like, oh, asteroid, it's not significant to impact the Earth.
Yeah.
They always talk about
that gets like always blown out of proportions. Like there's always articles like this asteroid could maybe hit the Earth in the next blah 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 years, and
and then they're like, but it has like a 1 in 1,000 chance of like hitting it. And then like they on the official podcast, Critical's podcast, they talked about this, and then they were bringing up these articles. And then one of the articles were like a asteroid the size of 2 football fields is heading towards Earth, or asteroid the size of a bus.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck is writing these articles? I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I'm scared of asteroids, but like I pretty much know that they will not hit us, because NASA did put out like an article like a year ago that pretty much said we are, like, for the foreseeable future, we are pretty much safe from asteroids. At least to a point where like the one that killed the dinosaurs, one like that.
Like a major asteroid event.
Yeah.
Y'all,
What were you gonna say?
y'all want to experience fear? Y'all want to experience true fear?
And what
That's
do you
it.
mean?
That's what I had to say.
Yeah, and there's other things like nuclear Armageddon, which is a topic that's been brought up lately in the
Yeah.
news. Then again,
Yeah.
since the Cold War,
yeah, I
Something like that
remember-
happens.
the Cold War, it's always been a topic.
Yeah, I remember one time, like before I started that internship, and I was still at my parents', and like there was some news about maybe Russia could do nuclear threats or something like that, and that kind of sent me spiraling for a day, because like I was especially thinking, oh, what if this happens when I'm away from my parents? What if I'm gonna die alone? That was like the worst part
Yeah.
of it. Like,
And then-
that thought specifically.
Also, like, another fear is like, World War III starting, like, and since me and John are in America, like, we get drafted because the U.S. always has to get involved in
No,
shit.
they gave up. They gave up the draft after Vietnam, right?
Yeah, pretty much after Vietnam, it's been all like voluntary. Military's
Yeah.
been all voluntary.
Then why'd you say we were gonna get drafted?
No, that's just a fear. Like, if it does happen, because for like years everyone's been talking about, oh, World War III is gonna happen. Whenever there's some sort of conflict that we have. Like,
Yeah.
remember with Iran, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. The world is a scary place, even outside of, like, it's kind of hard when everything's scary outside, then you go and watch these old cartoons and things are scary there as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you this right now. There's only one thing in this world that I truly fear, and it's beyond that. It's funny. Both Adam and Joaquin mentioned this, but they have not understood the true fear behind this. Let me introduce you to the scariest thing known to man.
What?
Ooh,
Spyro?
Look at it! Look at it! Wait, what? You're not afraid of it?
When did I
Are you
mention
afraid of
this?
spirals or hypnosis?
There we are. We have arrived. Oh, we have arrived at the spiral. Let me tell you about this little town.
we kind of got
The
off
downward
topic
spiral,
with
good album.
talking about nuclear stuff, but
Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this little comic I found one day when I was feeling alone and sad, but then became immensely horrified. Let me tell you about this little town called Kurozucho. So there's like these people. They live in this town called Kurozu. I think "cho" is a Japanese word for town. I think. Backward ass place. Unfortunately, this place is cursed. You heard me, cursed. Unfortunately, this town is cursed in a very unique sort of way. Everyone, and I mean everyone at some point, look at it.
Oh, no.
Look at it.
I
What?
can't quite. It's really small. Can you zoom in?
What am I?
What is that? Is what?
That is a man who was driven insane by the spiral.
Are you sure he's like not just dead and like twisted up?
He is.
I mean,
He is still alive.
okay, that is kind of terrifying. Man.
This brilliant madness was created by a madman called Junji Ito in his most famous work, Uzumaki. It's caused me to fear spirals ever since. This town has a spiral really curse, because the thing about spirals is they're fucking everywhere. Think about it. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. That's the Fibonacci sequence right there. They're everywhere. I mean, this, and that's not even the worst this gets. Sometimes you can get shit like this. You seeing this? That is their head being opened up.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't want to have that happen to me.
Sometimes there's this.
I've seen a bunch of their art before.
That is a boy being turned into a snail, and sometimes the most horrific thing of all.
Is that Pinkie Pie?
You know,
I just saw that. I just found this when I was looking first.
It looks like Pinkie Pie.
It is. It's Twilight Sparkle and Pinkie Pie. I found this when I was looking for that. This is the only thing I wanted to talk about. And I found this.
That is Pinkie Pie.
And then
when
someone
you go to a party.
Someone in this comic strip, what's missing is someone walks in and they start turning into Drax.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is Pinkie Pie after being married to Drax for 10 years.
Draxy Waxy.
Now it's about time.
I come from a place called Simply Earth.
We're all twisted here, Twilight. Literally.
So now you know the horrors I have seen today.
Hold on, let me grab my kilt. Alright, I'm next. Fears that I have had. I'm looking at my notes right here. I'm just gonna go off for the first topic. Since I was a kid, I was afraid of like dolls coming to life, and that's because when I was younger, like really young, I saw Child's Play, and that really scared me.
Yeah.
I have a date.
That makes sense.
I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a lot of fears out there that came about kids watching horror movies that were not meant for their age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like cabbages.
Chucky seems to be a common one, honestly.
Yeah. Like, also this episode from Goosebumps, it was called Bride of the Living Dummy, where Slappy gets a wife, and it's a doll. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the Night of the Living Dummy. I didn't know there was another episode where he gets married.
Well, I mean, he doesn't exactly get married, but he gets brought home to this girl's house.
Yeah.
And that family has like a little girl. Like there's like they have like two siblings. There's like a older girl who's like 13 and a younger girl who's like 7. And then she has a doll with her. And it looks kind of like a creepy doll. Like, I don't know what era it would be from, but it'd probably be like from the 60s or the 50s or whatever. I mean, my timing's probably way off. Of course, I'll put up screenshots. I didn't bring them for you, but I'll put them on the video, so I didn't become that prepared. Well, first he sees the doll, like when they go to a show, because the two sisters, they go to like this ventriloquist show, and then Slappy sees the doll that the little sister brought to the show, like in the audience. And then when he's basically in their home, and at one point in the episode, it's like late at night, and that's when all the spooky shit happens. and they go to the basement. I'm skipping a lot of shit, but whatever. If you've seen the episode, you know. If you haven't, you should go watch it. But the doll does come alive, like the bride, I
In a live
guess.
doll. Like an alive angel.
And it turns out Slappy doesn't even want to get married to
Ooh.
the doll. He wants to get married to like the older sister, and then they
What?
yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Jesus! What
like-
the fuck?
He's like, it's like Slappy. It's like, let's get married. He's like, no, not you, her. And then they have like a saw downstairs. They turn it on. It gets turned on. I think one of the sisters turns it on, and then they kill themselves.
Ugh.
I mean,
Wait,
it doesn't
what?
show
the
it. It
daughters or
doesn't.
the dolls?
The dolls. They
Okay.
get cut in half when they jump onto the saw when the doll and the dummy start fighting. It doesn't show them getting cut. It shows them afterwards, all cut up. Like it's just all wood cut up and stuff. But it doesn't show them like in the process of getting fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that episode and Child's Play always gave me a fear of living dolls. Like there's sometimes
Yes.
when I was a kid I would go into the garage and it would be dark, like I could not see, and before I have to turn on the light really quick because I thought if I didn't there would be like some doll randomly in the garage and it would come and get me.
Oh no.
And also like when
Were
I
there dolls
was
in your garage normally?
no, there never were.
Did Toy Story ever stoke any of these fears?
That one scene where they're at Sid's house.
Okay.
Well, that's because like
Wait.
he doesn't have like the dolls that Sid has look scarier.
Yeah, because he kind of like took them apart and like mixed and matched them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
And also this ties into what else I was going to talk about. When I was a kid, I consistently had nightmares of naked Barbie dolls trying to come and get me.
Did you ever see Small Soldiers?
No, it was just Barbie dolls.
Okay, because that's something like that in Small Soldiers. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I remember some of them, like, those dreams pretty vividly, too. Like, a lot of them would take place at, like, not only my house, but it would also take place for some reason at a hotel that my mom used to work at when I was a kid, like, at the time. I don't know why. But yeah.
I mean, usually, dreams are often just a combination of things you've experienced kind of being mushed together. So,
Yeah, well, I never really experienced, in real life, naked Barbie dolls trying to attack me.
No, but I mean, you know what the concept of a Barbie is. I guess
Yeah.
how it reached to that is who knows.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
I had a dream that wasn't really related to that, but it was equally as strange. Like I thought I'm mentioning that because I don't even have that. Like during my childhood, I didn't get that many like graphic nightmares, and like to this day. Like, if I have bad dreams, then it's usually, like, more realistic stuff, like, bad stuff happening, me getting, like, injured, or, like a terrorist attack happening, stuff like that. But like, when I was in kindergarten, I had this dream where, like, me and my parents were, like, there's, like, not far from where my parents live, there's like an overpass, like there's a bridge that's going over like train tracks. And when I was a kid, sometimes we would go there and like wave to like the train drivers, and they would sometimes like honk the horn.
Yeah.
Mostly like freight trains, so the dream was us standing on that bridge, and there was a freight train approaching, and like it started with my parents they were like upset for some reason, and I was like, why are you upset? That's just a freight train. And then the train would curl up like a snake. Like, I don't even know how to describe this. And it would transform into a monster, and then I woke up. It's like, that is like the most graphic nightmare I had.
Yeah, I mean, dreams are super weird, you know. I remember there were some dreams where I was scared in them, like it was a nightmare to me. And sometimes, like, as of like 2 years ago, I started writing down like dreams that stood out to me, and as soon as I woke up, I would write them down. I remember when I was 13, I had I remember it pretty vividly. When I was like 13, this was when I was super into Call of Duty, and I was also playing a lot of World at War. And then I remember there was this one dream where I was basically in World War II.
Oh yeah.
It's super no, dude. So for some reason, okay, so I remember I was like this American soldier. I never saw what I looked like, but like basically I was this guy, and we had like a whole like platoon with us, and we were the Americans, and we were in Berlin. We were fighting the Nazis. It was just weird because I don't think the American army in World War II ever like went to Berlin, or I could be wrong. Like I don't think so. Yeah, for some reason we were there. I just remember being scared.
Sounds like a historical film made in America, where they just invented an American platoon that was in Berlin at that time for some reason.
Yeah, I remember in that dream. we went down to where Hitler's bunker was, and I saw him. Like no one else was there. He was there, and I like he saw me. No, he was alive. He saw me, and I saw him. And I was like,
He looks at me, I look away, but does he see me anyway?
I don't know what it was. Like I remember he called me something. He called me a doom cough.
What?
A doom cough?
Which I think is dumbass in German.
I think you mean Dummkopf.
Yeah.
Then maybe, yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say it sounded like a German word, what you said, kind of.
Yeah, then I woke up. Yeah, and I went to school. Like it was on a Thursday, and I went to school on Friday, and I was like, guys, I had this weird fucking dream. Let me tell you about it. I mean, and then there was also
Hitler,
this
you
dream.
were there, and Mussolini, you were there.
Yeah, and then I also had this dream, like, it was like 3 months ago, where this girl who was an amputee had both of her legs cut off, and she was grinding on me in like some bedroom.
Okay.
You know what? We're gonna cut that out.
Explain. No. Explain.
We got some very interesting
further.
fetishes coming out of Joaquin.
Define amputee.
This was one of the
does she have no legs, or is she a full-on quadriplegic?
She had no legs.
Damn it.
If you'll be my no-leg girl.
Should we leave that in the video? Because I thought it was kind of funny.
Yes. Yes.
This was a dream I had. I think it was like 3 months ago. I have it written down here. Okay, August 5th, 2022. Yeah. But you know that's what you get with dreams. Sometimes it can be nightmares where you just scared out of your mind, or they can be like the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some girl with no legs and they're grinding on you. I guess that can be kind of scary. No context. I guess that is kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Was she cute?
Think so.
Yes. No.
I don't remember what she
There you
looked
go.
like. Anyways,
Sounds like a cool dream to me then, you know?
I mean, I don't know. It is, it is what it is.
You guys, I had like a dream where I made out with a girl's cheek.
Put in the image. Put in the image.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the picture that.
Oh
was
yeah, this
commissioned
might
by
not
John.
have come out yet.
As of today,
Because I'm assuming we're releasing this around Halloween.
You see. You know what? No. I'm gonna leave it a surprise. Let's leave it a surprise.
You'll figure it out when the video comes out.
You'll see it. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay, I'm looking at my notes. Another thing. Okay, Scary Maze Game. That was a phenomenon like over 10 years ago. If you guys remember
you mean that screamer thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, never experienced that when it was fresh.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, have you played it before? At least do
I
you
have
know
not.
what it is?
I only know it through you guys. I never actually I don't.
I haven't played it, but I know what it is.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those like reaction videos of like people playing pranking like their siblings or whatever. They show their reaction to it. But yeah, when I was young, my mom, she she was in the living room on the computer, and it was at night. It's like, hey Joaquin, come check this game out, and I'm like, oh okay. And then
Wow.
I just watched right next to her. Was next to her, and when it got to where the screamer was, I got so scared. I started crying. But yeah,
Wow.
that Exorcist image has haunted me for a lot of my childhood. And I would remember when sometimes, like, there would be some days where I would fall asleep, like at night on the living room couch, and then I would wake up, like, at like, I don't know, 1 a.m. This would happen to me quite often. I would wake up at like 1 a.m. in the living room, and obviously everyone else is in their bed, and I'm the only one in the living room. And our closet, we had a closet in the living room, which was like, it was right next to the front door. And then next to the closet was like the hallway to our rooms. And then we also had a gate, so like our dogs couldn't get into our rooms, like for the hallway. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So when I would wake up, I would always be scared, like that the Exorcist girl was gonna come and get me. She was gonna jump out of the closet, so I would have to run straight to my room, and I had to jump over the dog gate. There would be times where I would just trip over it.
Oh no.
Yeah, this thing would happen quite a lot for some reason. Like, I would just wake up, and in 5 seconds, I was like, I gotta get to my room. Also, when I was a kid, a lot of times I would misbehave, and my dad would tell me, it's like, hey, Joaquin, if you don't behave, then the El Cucuy is gonna get you, and if any of our viewers are Mexican American, you definitely know what I am talking about. I assume you guys don't know what El Cucuy is, though.
No.
You mentioned it to me once, but I didn't really have a good
It's
understanding.
basically the
It's some
Mexican
sort of monster?
boogeyman.
Okay.
It's kind of a common thing in Mexican American households, like to kids. That was also one of the things I was afraid that was gonna come and get me whenever I'd go into the garage. Besides of like living dolls.
Like, what does it look like?
I don't really know, to be honest.
Or is it something that's not really well defined? And it's up to your interpretation? Or like there's many interpretations?
I'm looking. I did a Google search. I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so apparently from this movie, he's supposed to look like this.
Oh my.
Is that Jack
Kinda.
Nicholson?
A little bit scary.
Well, I guess I know what he looks like now. I never really knew when I was a kid. My dad didn't really tell me what he looked like.
You know, sometimes that's worse when it's up to your imagination.
Yeah, well, I don't really know what I thought he looked like. And I also thought that if this creature went to come to attack me, I would have to fend him off with my sick karate moves because I was taking karate classes at the time.
That sounds pretty badass. I want to see that.
Little Joaquin fighting off living dolls in El Cucuy in his garage with his sick karate moves.
I mean, that's why people learn karate in the first place, right? To fight things like this?
I mean, yeah. I guess I can talk about this one too. When I first learned of what creepypastas were, I thought some of them were kind of real, even though I was like 12 at the time. Like, I for some reason thought that Slender Man was kind of real. And I also thought that Jeff the Killer was also kind of real. I don't know why.
You know, honestly,
you ever see people like dressed as them going up outside around town or anything?
No.
I also had my creepypasta face, but like Jeff the Killer was the one that I read, and even then, like I was scared of stuff like Squidward's suicide and Sonic.exe, but I read Jeff the Killer, and I was like, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean, the ones that mostly scared me.
Even then, I was like, why do these 12-year-old boys just pull a gun on them?
All of them made
like,
complete sense to me. Like Jeff the Killer, they made complete sense to me, to my 13-year-old mind. And so years later, when the Steel Donut covered Jeff the Killer, I realized how stupid it was. That was one of the creepypastas.
To be fair, I was scared of Sonic.exe, but I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I watched like videos where it was covered, like the game specifically. I didn't even know there was a story originally. I just thought it was this scary game where Sonic's evil.
Yeah. Also, what I was scared of was the Suicide Mouse.avi. If any of you know what that one was.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that way later,
Barely.
I think.
Most of the creepypasta stories I listened to was when Subordinary Gamers used to do creepypasta videos, like way back when.
Yeah. Yeah, also did that, but like, I don't think, like, not when I initially found creepypasta. Like, I remember the first creepypasta I found out about was Ben Drowned because I was watching a Let's Play of Majora's Mask, and the guy mentioned that and gave, like, a quick rundown.
You thought Ben Drowned was real?
No, I don't know. But that's just the first creepypasta I found out about.
I never really read a lot of creepypasta. I don't know if it's just... And not that creepypasta's always been around, but I never really read a whole lot of it aside from maybe a few of the cursed Pokemon cartridge ones, you know? Like Pokemon Black and shit like that.
Yeah, I didn't really read those.
But I also don't really have a whole lot of nostalgia for creepypasta, and I guess you can kind of see that whenever in the videos we record about creepypasta. They're fun to read, but I don't really have a nostalgia for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also not sure if I'm really, I would say that I'm nostalgic for them. Like, I guess they got me into horror content to begin with, and then I found, like, legit horror content and moved out of the creepypasta phase.
Yeah. I mean, after creepypastas, I moved on to people like Mr. Nightmare, like 5 true horror, like scary stories. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But
another
also,
one.
Joaquin, you mentioning that you thought Slenderman was kind of real. You know how some of the Slenderman web series have this like piece of lore that Slenderman was originally German, or at least was in Germany at one point, and that there's this folk tale of, like, it's called the Großmann. That's what they call it, and it's like fake, and like if you know German and you hear the name Großmann, you immediately know it's fake because it doesn't sound like a real thing. It literally sounds like something that someone who's not German would have come up by typing Slenderman into Google Translator. But there's this German like creepypasta slash mystery YouTuber who apparently literally thought that this was a real folk tale, despite there being literally no evidence for that, and he made a video where he talked about like that, like it was a legit thing, like there was really a tale like that. There's also like a fake like diary someone wrote, which is also like obviously fake. Like if you know even a bit of the historical context it's in, it's like obviously fake, and he also included that. And he didn't know where the Black Forest was either. It's like really weird.
So new legends are created.
Does that German legend also include you have to find 8 pages?
I don't think so. I think the fake legend is just that there's a guy in the forest, and if you're a bad kid, he's gonna get you. But yeah, actual like real German legends are way more fucked up than that.
Yeah.
Well, you have to tell us about that some other time. Anything else you want to go over, or?
Yeah, I was gonna tell one more big story, and it also has to do with Jeff the Killer.
Oh, have at it.
Last thing I want to talk about. So, oh wait, no, I had 2 things. Okay, this first one's actually really quick. But are you guys familiar with the Wiggles?
Yes.
Vaguely.
Don't think so.
When I was a kid, in their fruit salad DVD or VHS.
Wait, just as context for me, is that some like kids show?
Wiggles is a kids band, like children's music, and they're from Australia.
Okay.
They're Australian, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I loved them as a kid, but there was one segment where they had puppet versions of themselves. I'll send you the link right now, and I'll show a little bit of it on screen.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that already looks terrifying.
Yeah, and they had high-pitched
Puppets?
voices that sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. But that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
It kind of fits with your fear of dolls.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think if I saw that as a kid, I would have also been scared shitless.
I remember when
that looks.
Dude,
that
the first
looks
time I watched
terrifying.
it, the Greg puppet, he comes up close to the screen, like slowly, and then he goes back, and that scared the shit out of me.
Why do they look so fucked up though? If it's for kids?
I don't know. You should watch the whole video though. It's so weird. Okay, my last thing we want to talk about. This has to do with Jeff the Killer, in a way. But it's also I wanted to end on a really funny story. This is something I did when I was a freshman. Okay, to give you context, the school I went to when I was a freshman and sophomore, it was a new school, and they had no textbooks. They wanted to be like futuristic and shit. I remember one of the teachers was saying, "Hey," one of us was like, "Hey, why don't we have textbooks?" And the teacher was like, well, because textbooks are obsolete, which not true, to be honest.
That's a stupid
So,
statement.
like, did you get tablets where you're supposed to
You got
use your
Chromebooks.
smartphones?
Everyone got Chromebooks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then, so it was basically like half online school, half in person, because we would still go like in class, but we just have our Chromebooks, and we would take notes using Google Docs. And then to do our homework, we had this it was this website called Canvas, which every college student uses it mostly.
Oh, I remember using that.
Yeah, so we used that. I remember for my English class, sometimes for our homework, the teacher would put out like discussion posts, and then we would have to respond in the comments to what she was asking, and it would be like the discussion would be related to like a story we were reading at the time, and then we would respond in the comments, and that was our homework sometimes. And in the text editor, you can insert a link into one of the words, and so I gave out a normal answer, like, and for one of the words, I decided to insert a link for one of them, and it doesn't tell you what the link was, obviously, until you clicked on it. It opens in a new window. That whatever. I submitted my answer in class, and then for the rest of the day, I thought nothing of it. So the link I inserted to one of the words, my answer, was to a Screamer website that was of Jeff the Killer. And it would, as soon as you would open the flashlight, there would be this really, really loud screaming sound. And then, like, the Jeff the Killer image would, like, flash, like, so fast. Like, if you had epilepsy, you probably should not click on that website.
Yeah.
I'll show it right now on screen.
Yeah, you showed me this the other day, actually.
Yeah, before you had to go. I didn't even tell you the full story.
Like, Jeff the Killer isn't real, he can't hurt you.
Yeah, so I sent a link to what I'm talking about. It was called ack.ly/pics/and jpeg.jpg. And one of my friends clicked on the link, like she like in study hall, it was super quiet, and I guess she was looking over other people's answers, and she clicked on my link, or the link I had in my answer, and then out of nowhere there was this loud screaming sound, and she got so scared. And also, here's the best part. Okay, so a couple days go by, and yeah, I'm on the spectrum, so for my whole life, I always had like an IEP in school. John, have you had that before?
Not my whole school life,
but
I don't like talking about it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, a lot of people like who are on the spectrum, like who are high functioning, have IEPs to help them throughout school. And sometimes we would have IEP meetings where me and my mom would show up with like my teachers, and during this meeting, my English teacher was not that happy with me, to say. She told my mom, "He's like, your son scared my whole class to death." What happened was, she also, when grading my work, she clicked on that link. I guess at that time, her class was working, like they were working quietly, and her computer was hooked up to the speakers in the class. So out of nowhere, like that scream, that super loud scream just started playing out of nowhere. Throughout the whole class, and it scared the whole class. And I was like,
Man.
it's like, I was talking about this to my mom the other day, and she's like, Joaquin, I'm surprised you didn't get expelled, man. Like, what the fuck?
Ah, come on, that would be a bit drastic, I think.
I think
Yeah.
expel would be drastic, but I mean,
Yeah.
you could totally get a.
I did not
detention
get
for something like
suspended, and I don't think I got detention for it.
that. Sounds like you got off easy.
Yeah. But just like imagine you're in class. Like imagine you're back in school. You're in English class. The whole class is quiet because everyone's working and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, through the speakers, you hear the scream like throughout the whole room.
Yeah.
Like you shit yourself.
That would have fucked with me if that happened to me.
Like, for some reason, I didn't think that was gonna happen when I did. I don't even know why I did that. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about.
If there's
I think-
any high schoolers watching this, don't do that.
Or at least ones that use Canvas.
Yeah.
Holy
Also,
shit,
don't
man.
scare your friends to death or your class or other classes.
Don't scare your teacher.
You might not get off that easy.
Yeah.
Somehow I did.
Joaquin is a. What?
I'm a what?
I was gonna say Joaquin's a regular karma Houdini.
I don't know what that is.
It means someone who like gets away with something that without getting in trouble, basically. It's a trope. Don't worry about it.
Is that all?
I think that's all. How long have we been going on?
2 hours, basically.
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I did not expect
yeah, I
the podcast
think-
to be that long. We originally thought a couple more people would show up, not just the four of us.
Yeah, imagine how long this would have gone.
Because the
Well,
thing,
we'll just cut into episodes.
yeah, I mean, because, oh, whatever.
Anyways, you know what to do down in the description and such, right?
Yeah, even though we did not cover anything, any fanfics this episode, it still has to be said, don't harass any of the authors that we cover.
Yeah, just in
Yeah.
general, don't.
We have a
Don't
Discord
be a
server. If you want to hang out with us, sometimes we play Jackbox now, because John has Jackbox. And if you have a request, we have a request thread. There you can send it there. Our requests have to be quarantined, as John would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it.
If you do not like, do not read.
Don't read.
Bye.
Later.
All right, peace out.